Musician Audio released Pegasus R2R DAC back in 2021, which I reviewed. Second generation in 2024, I reviewed it as well. Hello everyone, welcome to the Abama Hi-Fi Review channel. Musician Audio recently released this third generation Pegasus R2R DAC using 24-bit R2R architecture for PCM conversion and 6-bit dedicated DSD conversion that it can offer. Pegasus 3 is highly improved, retail for $1,200 aluminum. The remote control is standard in this Pegasus 3. I've been using this Pegasus 3 for almost a month and a half. I started off on my streaming setup watching Disney Plus or Amazon Prime or streaming YouTube on my setup with old Denon receiver and this Pegasus 3 Audio Quest Diamondback RCA cable connected to my Denon receiver using JBL L100 Classic 75th speakers. In that combination, I watched a few movies as well as newer Sting live concert, beautiful live performance with two acoustic guitars, Sting and Dominic, in the Amsterdam Museum live performance. This Pegasus 3 and combination reproduce incredibly realistic, musically enjoyable sound that it delivers. Live venue and that venue sound signature of the performer is preserved and will re-deliver in my listening space, so which is very impressive. So if you like live venue or live performances, this is going to be one of the good sounding DAC that you can consider. So after that, I moved to here. I tried with my X30 amp from Musicshare using this S1EX towers and sounded incredible. Open, spacious, and dynamic sound. Somewhat closer to like chip-based kind of dynamic attack while preserving musicality of R2R sound signature in upper, mids, and high frequency extension. The airiness, spaciousness, and holographic tiny nuances and lingering notes that come next to you, those kind of notes are well preserved and very well delivered, unlike most of Delta Sigma chips in general. To get the performance in Delta Sigma DACs, you have to look around $2,000 or above price range to get that kind of performance. One in particular you can get is like a Custard Audio X30. So that can do that, right? This one, getting that kind of sound quality. One of the sound quality improvement is neutral revealing sound. High in resolution, tiny nuances are well preserved and reproduced. Another live performance that I enjoy listening to is Lavin Baker, St. Louis Blues, that performed in Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood. It sounded beautiful. The way that she speaks before start singing, audience, laughing noise, so everything is well delivered like I was there kind of performance. So that is very impressive for $1,200 component. I was using this Acufix E4000 in that combination. My cable setup is all ASD cable end to end except my digital cable. USB cable I'm using Oya Ide Neo Class A USB cable, as well as connected to Marantz CD and SACD player with coaxial cable to this Pegasus 3. I went through a few CD, sounded very nice. This setup button works in conjunction with this input selector button. Let's say to change the phase of the XLR output, push this setup button, select this coaxial selector, push this. Now we are in standard non-inverted version of XLR output. And next one is this DSD channel swap. To do that, push this button, setup button, go to USB and push this again. Now we are channel swap. Next one is oversampling function and noise function. Push this setup button, select to optical input selector, push this button. Now we are in noise mode, but I don't want to use that, so I'm going to go back to oversampling mode. Pegasus 3 feature two different filter, fast roll off and slow roll off filter. To change the filter option, push this setup button, move this input to AES and push this setup button. Now it's off. Now we are at slow roll off filter, which I don't want. I'm gonna go back to fast roll off filter. Most of my music listening impression is based on fast roll off filter and oversampling mode using different type of audio formats. When I try noise mode option, it sounded more forgiving, slightly warmer, a bit roll off in higher range of frequency. Is still very enjoyable. This one can take up to 8 different I2S pinout configuration. So those are the features that you can use. To get all the performance and improvements, they have to improve a lot of things internally of this Pegasus 3. Let's do the quick comparison of Pegasus 2 and 3 on the screen. So left side is Pegasus 3, right side is Pegasus 2. As you can see, first thing that you will notice right away is Pegasus 3 is featuring oven temperature control dual crystal oscillators in there in Pegasus 3, which is not available, never been featured on any generations of Pegasus line. That is one major improvement to reduce jitter and background noise control, as well as improving resolution and micro details and high frequency extension cleanliness in those areas. One of the noticeable improvement that you can notice other than other power supply improvements. As you can see, hot wire on the AC power inlet and those neutral and ground wires, all of them appear to be like 9 or 10 gauge thickness wires compared to Pegasus 2. And then that hot wire is going through ferrite core. So that is another way of reducing high frequency noise. Those noise before even get to power transformer or power supply section. That is good improvement as well. Another noticeable improvement is this Pegasus 3 no longer feature glass tube replaceable the fuses, right? So those are good improvements to increase dynamic range and better current delivery, because there is no gap going through that tiny poor quality metal piece inside that glass tube. So those are good improvements inside this Pegasus 3. The international voltage, everything is still there with additional improvements that it come with it. Previous generation was $1,100. This one is $1,200. $100 increase, right? Because shipping charges are getting out of hand, as well as cost of raw material. All in all, this Pegasus 3 is most improved that generations that I've ever seen and heard. Sonic improvement, background noise control improvements, and everything combined. State-of-the-art build quality and sound quality improvements with good musical sound that you can get for $1,200 on this Pegasus 3 is one of the best option right now that you can get. No longer genre sensitive. You can listen to modern pops, to heavy metal, to audiophile recording, to classical music. I mean, pretty much everything it will redeliver. Best possible way that you can get in this price point of $1,200. I listen to a bunch of modern pop hits. So when I'm listening to one of my modern reference track is Cigarette After Sex Kid Dog. That track, I've been paying a lot of attention while I'm auditioning different decks. Many decks can deliver good sound, but when it comes to detailed retrieving, like especially the cymbal strikes, rolling cymbal strikes, that different placements that they are rolling, like crown of the cymbal, middle of the cymbal, and edge of the cymbal, it has different sound to it, right? When I listen to it with R262 from Gusted Audio, I can notice the placement. Oh, it's rolling on crown of the cymbal or edge of the cymbal, etc. So when I'm listening with this Pegasus 3, those tiny nuances are well produced with good detailed sound quality. But placement and those notes different in placement notes are not as noticeable, almost like just a cymbal rolling kind of sound. Those are the area it's gonna be a little bit behind compared to deck like R262 in terms of sound reproduction. Mid-range quality, vocals and voices are very well comparable, clean and precision notes with good neutral tone to it, while delivering musical and engaging mid-range and high-frequency extension with very well extended air and space between the notes that you will enjoy. Bass quality, it has good articulation, dynamic and vivid delivery, almost to like AKM 4499EX chip kind of immediacy to it, kind of delivery, but not quite there yet, but getting there in bass delivery, right? So that kind of articulation and resolution with separation between the notes are well delivered. Smooth upper mids and mid-range area that I can enjoy all day long. But it can still reveal bright sounding music as well. It has ability of revealing original recording sound signature as well as maintaining R2R musicality. Those are the things that you will totally notice if you have transparent system. Pegasus 3 and this S1EX towers and this Acuphase E4000 combination can perform disappearing at nothing but music that I can enjoy listening to this Pegasus 3. If I don't have Gusted Audio R262 or Divinity Deck, I can happily live with this Pegasus 3 in my system. Everything is improved over previous 2 generations. And one more thing that I must mention is this remote control. It works very good. As you can do on the main unit, you can do it here as well on the remote control. Those are good improvements that come with this Pegasus 3. Only tiny bit of improvement that I like to have is the stereo image. Width of the soundscape is not as wide as R262, slightly narrower. Depth is slightly shallower, not major, but those areas are noticeable. Vocals are taller without forwardness. It's neutral presentation with good precision to it, but not to the level of such as Eva Solo Z10 or those type of precision in terms of stereo image. But when you compare to R262, somewhat getting there, but not quite there yet. Preciseness and precision stereo image that it has to improve a little bit. Just nitpicking. As far as the price and performance go, this is as good as you can get. When I start listening AC/DC back to black, the guitar riffs and drum notes and everything is beautifully, dynamically redelivered without getting to your face and no brightness there. with this setup. I was like, wow, this is one of the most enjoyable hard rock sound quality out of R2R decks. So if you want to upgrade your previous generations of Pegasus lines or any other lines in $1,000 price range from different manufacturers, either R2R or Delta Sigma, this Pegasus 3 deck sound quality is one of the noteworthy and much improved sound that we can get. So totally, I can easily recommend it to my best friend. That's how much they improve on this Pegasus 3. That is my experience that I like to share with you. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
Come into my solitude, though I weary be. Come into my tenderness, dream along with me. Listen to the whispers sing, listen to the singer shout. Come into my solitude, be my big mouth. Thoughts unspoken, thoughts unsaid, lies of hearth and home. Children broken on the bed and left to lie alone. Things you talk around, scum you choke on down. Come into my solitude, step on sacred ground. We were speaking of values and violence, breaking silence. Fathers who are lovers to the daughters that they own. Mothers who don't leave a child a single safety zone. People so unhinged that death is much too kind. Come into my solitude, step over that line. Thought I was the only one. Thought I was the only. Thought I was the only one. Speaking of values and violence, breaking silence. Come into my solitude, welcome to the wheel. Come into this wonderland of wounds that will not heal. Walls that do not speak, steps that do not sound. Come into my solitude, burn this building